Okay, so today's class is going to be on D latches and D flip-flops. In the last class we saw something about SR latches. Then we'll modify the SR latches to obtain a D latch, and then we'll move on to what is D flip-flops. So latches we saw SR latch with enable, right? And the function also we discussed. If S is equal to 0, the output will be set to 1, and if R is equal to 0, the output Q will be set to 0. And that is when the enable pin is high. If the enable is 0, irrespective of whatever is changes is they are happening in S and R, will not get reflected at the output. Whatever is the previous state, that will be retained when enable is 0. So that is the how SR latches work. Okay, so inside it's a NAND gate that can be called as S dash R dash, whereas these inputs are S and R, right? Okay, now the D flip-flop circuit is a modification of the SR latch. Instead of S and R, you have a D input. Okay, the set is given as D and the reset is given as D bar. So what happens in this circuit is, whenever the enable is high, if D is equal to 1, since it is given to the set, it will be set to 1, and if D is equal to 0, right, it is set will become 0 and reset will become high, so it will be set to 0. So whatever is the value of the D, when the enable is high, it gets reflected at Q, right? Again, when the enable is 0, okay, whatever is available at D doesn't get transmitted, it retains the previous stage itself. Okay, is this clear? What is D input? What is a D flip-flop? D stands for data. Okay, so whatever is the data gets reflected as it is at the output. Okay, somebody wants to. Okay, yeah. So whenever we want to write a data, we have to enable it. That's all. Write a data into this memory cell. So enable is to be put high, and what that data is to be placed there. It gets written into the cell, and then okay, the write signal goes off. Enable is you might call it that is the write signal. When it goes off, that data whatever was written will be retained here. Okay. So this is okay. So this is the truth table. Like when the enable is 0, whatever happens in D, whatever transition happens in D does not get reflected output. So there is no change, right? Whenever the enable is high, if D is 0, Q is going to be 0. This is the complementary which is going to be high. And whenever an enable is high and D is 1, right? So Q is going to be high, and then Q bar is going to be 0. So this is the summary of the D latch. Okay. Now,
hello.
yeah, tell me.
So could you please go to the diagram of D flip-flop again?
Yeah, here.
So which one is Q dash?
Okay, this is Q dash. Okay. So one
Okay,
line is
sir.
missing here.
And so which one is the flip-flop and which one is the latch?
No, this is a D flip-flop as of now. We have not yet considered latch. Okay, this latch this was earlier an SR latch. This is a S dash R dash latch. This is an this is an SR latch, right? This is an SR latch, and this part inside is an S dash R dash latch. This is an D latch. Okay, it's written wrong here. You can consider it as a D latch. Okay, it's a D latch. Sorry. Okay, this is a D latch. Still, it's going to be a D latch. So this is the truth table of the D latch. I have not yet introduced flip-flop. Okay, we are just speaking with now D latch with preset and clear. Okay, now this is the data. Maybe to initialize this latch, or we will see like there will be some counters where it will go to only not 0 to 4. It might only count till 3 and come back to 0. So we might want it to preset it to 0 or clear it to 0. So those kind of inputs are also required. So within the latch it's going to be a 3 input AND gate here, and this is known as preset bar and this is known as clear bar. Okay, so somebody can tell me why it's written as a clear bar here? Why is it?
Maybe it will make both 0.
Not both zero. So flip-flops will not have both zeros.
No, that Q dash.
Will it make Q dash 0 or it will make Q 0? It will make Q 0, right?
Clear will make Q dash 0, right? When clear dash is on.
When clear dash means you got to give a 0 here, right?
Okay. Okay.
Clear dash means to activate clear. To clear dash means to activate a clear, you have to give a 0 at this pin. Okay, when you give a 0 pin, this will go 1, and that will make this as 0. Okay, preset means you are setting it as 1. So to put the latch into a state of high state, that is logic 1, you need to give a 0 here. So the moment you give 0 here, this will go 1. So this is known as preset bar and clear bar. Is it okay?
So why are we using preset and clear?
Why are we using preset and clear, is it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that gives us a lot of flexibility. Okay, to set the counter to say when you switch on the power supply, right? Suppose there are n number of flip-flops and like 4 flip-flops. Okay, they may not be reading 0 0 0 initially once you set the flip-flop. Okay, so you can use the preset or the clear signal to set it to 0 0 0. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, there is another reason also. Suppose I am making an flip-flop which is counting. Okay, now we will see how to design a counter and all. Okay, now I have 4 flip-flops. It has to count to 0 till 9 and come back to 0. Okay, it's a BCD counter, suppose. So I can have a combinational logic which will sense 9. Okay, which will sense 9 or which will sense 10 also. The moment it is sensing that the binary 4 flip-flops, I'm talking about 4 flip-flops which are there concurrently working. So once I sense the output has reached 10, okay, I should immediately put it to 0 back, because it has to count from 0 to 0, 0 to 9. Okay, it is continuously with each clock it is increasing. So that part also. So we require, well, you can detect 10 easily by taking Q, all the 4 Qs and making a combinational logic, right? We just have to detect it. Now how to put it to 0? So we will use these pins to put it to 0. Like, so similarly there could be any design where we might have to put it to 1. So this gives us the flexibility to interrupt the operation and put the flip-flops to the desired state. Okay, this is going to override all input, clock. If you see, the preset and clear is not dependent on clock or the D or the enable and all. It will just directly slave the output to the desired levels. So that is the design requirement. Okay, what is Asim's is the line for labeling or is it an input? These are the inputs. Okay, they will be outside the chip. These 4 inputs will be there. 4 inputs and 2 outputs will be there.
Sir?
Yeah.
So when present preset and clear are there is no use for D and enable, no sir?
No, it is. It will be required. These are to set it only to the desired level. Okay. Once we see the design of these circuits, okay, we will understand what is the purpose of these all the 4 pins when we do combinational design. Okay, they are only to load the initial condition or for a specific condition. Okay, not for continuously doing that. Okay, so we'll see that.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so we would be giving a pulse input to preset and clear. We wouldn't be giving it a constant 1 or a 0, right? Because we need it to work only for like one time, so that it
Yeah.
either presets it to 0 or clears it, or
Okay.
presets it to 1, whatever.
Yeah, so normally what should be the signals applied to preset dash and clear dash?
Pulse signals.
No, what?
Just
Normally. Normally,
normally it should be a VDD, just
Yeah,
either
yeah.
giving a high or a low.
correct. We should give one value. So whenever we need to preset it for specific conditions, we'll just give a small 0 there for small duration time.
All right, sir.
Huh? Okay. So that is about preset and clear. Okay. Now these are some of the graphic signals. Okay. This is for the, yeah, tell me.
Can you repeat why we are using preset and clear?
Okay. Preset and clear is, so like when you make an say we are going to make a counter, okay, which is going to count from 0 to 9. Okay, so we are going to cascade 4 such flip-flops, and we will make a combinational circuit which will with each clock we will try and vary the value of the D, so that slowly with each clock these 4 counters are going to read between 0 and 9. Is it okay? That much part clear?
Yes, sir.
We will learn that design in the next class. Okay. Now after 9, say after 9, it's a BCD counter. I don't want it to go to 10. I want it to come back to 0 again. Okay. Okay. So in that case, I can use a preset and clear input. So the moment I will make a combinational logic which will detect it is 10, and it will preset it or to clear it to 0. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And also say when I am powering up the system, even before the clock is started, I want initially all the flip-flops to be at a 0000 count, because you don't know, whenever there is a power is being switched on or something, there could be some noise. So this is bistable. That noise can take it to 1 or 0. If it is that small noise takes it to 1, then it will remain stable at 1 unless you give a D input. So in those cases also we can use the preset and clear, so that we can initialize these flip-flops to a desired level, whatever we want. Either we want to start it from 0 or start it from 1. We can use these pins to slave the output to the particular value which we require, particular state what we require. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now these are the symbols. Okay, this is the SR latch symbol. So you have,
one small doubt, sir. In the previous diagram,
okay, let me go. Yeah.
Is the preset and clear inputs, or they are just labeling?
No, they are inputs. There will be 4 inputs. 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs and 2 outputs. That will be available in the pin.
So this means that those NAND gates are 3 input NAND gates.
Yeah, those gates are 3 input NAND gates. Yes. These pins also will be available in your IC. Okay. When you do the flip-flop in LTSpice, the next experiment, maybe in a day or 2, I will load. You will be able to see these pins also. They are available outside from the IC. Okay. Okay. Now these are the symbols. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the symbols. This is an SR latch. Okay. This is the symbol S, R, Q and Q bar. Right. So this bubble indicates it is Q bar. Okay. Even if it this bubble always indicates it's an active low. Okay. The active low and this active high. If there is no if there is a bubble, it is an active low. Okay. So this is an S dash R dash latch. Okay. So there will be bubbles here indicating it is active low inputs. Okay. You have to give S is equal to 0 to set it, and R is equal to 0 to reset it. Q bar. Okay. And this is the latch D, enable, preset, clear, Q and Q bar. Okay. So these are the graphic symbols what we have. Now sequential circuits. Now you have latch. Okay, what is the difference between latch? Latch responds to a change in the level of the clock pulse. Okay, So whenever clock means whenever the input is high, right, or whenever the input is low, during that period whatever is the change in the input gets reflected in the output. Okay, whenever is the input and the enable is high, whatever is the change in the input directly gets reflected at the output. Okay, now the flip-flop, the basic difference is, okay, whenever the clock is going high, okay, whatever is the data during that time, it will be slaved. Okay, it will be captured and it will be available in the memory till the next clock goes high. So even when the clock is high in this phase also, if the data changes, that will not be taken into consideration. Okay, the memory will not accept that change in data. Is it understood? Okay, between what is the difference between the latch and the clock and a flip-flop? In the flip-flops are basically edge triggered. When there will be a separate clock, and when the clock is making a transition, whatever is the value, input value of D or S or R, that will be captured into the memory location and into the memory, and while the clock is high, even then that if there is a change in data, that will not be captured. That is the difference. Is it understood? Okay, so similarly it could be a negative edge triggered flip-flop. There also whatever is the data when the clock is going from high to low, during this small nanosecond duration, whatever is the data available on nano or pico, whatever is depending on the rise time and pulse and a fall time. So whatever is the data available, that will be the captured, and during the low and high when the clock is stable, no data will be let into the memory cell. Okay, so this is the basic difference. So what is why do we have to have that edge triggered is, just take a sample circuit here. It is xn. Okay, assume initially it is 0, so you have 1 here, so that 1 is given to the AND gate. Okay, we want an output which is xn into x n minus n. Okay, we have taken an output from here, from in between the output of the AND gate. Okay, this is the function we want to realize. Okay, this is the output function we want to realize, which is a AND of present sample and the previous sample. So we want to detect 2 consecutive ones. Okay, so we have made a circuit like this. Okay, so what happens is, the moment initially it is 0, right, so the output will be 0, this will be 1, so it is available here. Now the moment from input to output it goes to high, what happens? Okay, this will go high, this will go 0, it goes 0 here, this will go 0 here, then this will go high here, again that high will be fed here, again this will go high, so it will start oscillating. So you find if it is not controlled by a clock, you will have such oscillations. This was the function which I wanted to realize. Hello. Yeah, tell me. मैं क्लास ले रहा हूँ, मैं कॉल करूँगा. Yeah, is it understood till here? Anybody? This is just I am telling you, in the latches this is the problem. So to avoid this we use flip-flops. Is it clear to anybody? And can anybody speak out, please?
Excuse me, sir.
So why do we have xn minus 1?
No, I am telling you, just maybe for some specific purpose, okay, in a circuit we want an AND of a sample and the previous sample. So this delay will be the previous sample, whatever was there. D flip-flop will store the previous value. Okay, this is just an example of how it will say this is an this is known as race around in latches. Okay, I want to generate a function y, which is, okay, y is from here, okay, not from the queue. Okay, it is the y is placed somewhere here. Okay, y is taken from the output of the AND gate. It is xn, that is the present sample. okay, and with xn minus 1, that is the previous sample. So where do I get the previous sample? This is the memory, right? So it stores the previous sample. So this is the previous sample is available here, okay. Xn, now xn comes here, so xn okay, this is sorry, xn and xn minus 1 bar, okay. So this is xn minus 1 bar is available, okay. This function needs to be modified as xn and x minus n bar, and that is we are taking it from here. Say we just want to
Excuse me, sir.
yeah, tell me.
So should it not be yn minus 1 bar, because the output of yn is being fed into the latch, right? So yn minus 1 is getting added with xn.
No. I am taking an output here. That's what I said. I should have placed this function here, output of the NAND gate.
Output of the AND gate, right?
Yeah.
And the output of the AND gate is yn, and that is what is getting stored in the D latch, right? In the data bit. And that is getting multiplied by xn.
No. So you have an old data xn available, the fresh data which is coming in, and the old data available. Right? yn minus 1 is available here, which is same as xn minus. Okay. Here. Right?
So yn minus 1 is the same as yn minus 1 bar is the same as xn.
Yeah.
Minus 1.
Yeah. So there will be a race around a condition. Okay, I just put some circuit here just to explain you. Don't get into the actual functions and all. I just want to bring out one small problem with the latches. That is, in this particular condition, if you see x going to high, it will make a loop, right? X is going from 0 to 1. This will create a 1 here. This will create a 0 here. This will go to 0 here. So if it is not a clocked circuit, there will be a situation where there will be don't worry about these functions here. It is just, I am just want to the essence of this slide is that in a flip-flop there will be loops like this, which is known as race around, where the data will keep changing of its own, forming a loop by itself. Okay, so that is a disadvantage of a latch. Okay, now we will go how to avoid that. So the flip-flops, that these conditions are avoided. So there are two ways to build a flip-flop. Okay, the first way is, okay, one is using a master-slave flip-flop. The other one is by using a AND gate itself, NAND gate itself. So these two, one is to isolate the output of the flip-flop, okay, which is known as the master-slave configuration, and this is by isolating the by only using the clock transition. So these are two methods of doing it. We will take each one of them now. Okay, so the first one is known as the master-slave flip-flop. Okay, now if you see in the master-slave flip-flop, the clock is given here. Okay, and the clock, there are two flip-flops which are used here. We are taking the output here and we are giving an inverted clock here. Okay, we are giving an inverted clock here. So what happens now, if you see, when the clock is high, going high, right, during the clock going high, whatever is the data in D is getting into the master. Okay, now if D changes during the clock also, that also will get replicated here. Right, now when the clock is going low, during that edge, when the clock is going from high to low, right, so this latch will be enabled. So whatever was the data when the clock is going from high to low, okay, whatever was the data, that gets stored here and that gets replicated here onto this slave, and subsequently when the clock is low, right, so this is disabled. So even if there is a change in data, that doesn't get reflected into Y, or for that matter into the C. So in fact, whenever the data, so whatever is the data here, whenever the clock is going from high to low, at that point whatever is the data available, that will be captured by this master slave flip-flop. Is it clear? It may not be that clear, I know. Let's see some simulations, then it will be clear. Okay, so this is the clock, right? When the clock is high, right? If D changes, that data will get captured in here. Okay, if whatever is happening in D will get captured in the D latch because the clock is high. It is an level triggered latch, right? It's a latch, it's not a flip-flop yet. Okay, the combination will become a flip-flop. So whatever data changes, okay, when the clock is high, it will keep getting, Y will be affected here, but Q will not be affected in that state. Q is stable. So when the clock is going from high to low, okay, at that instance, when the clock is going high, whatever is the data available, okay, that is the last D available when the clock is going to high. Okay, so this is at that time that this clock is going from low to high. Okay, the clock bar is going, so that data, now since this clock is going high, that data will be transferred to the latch, okay, during this time. Okay, now when the clock is going low, now even if D changes, nothing is going to happen to Y because it is immune to the changes in Y, right? And now Y remains unaffected, and that Y is remaining at Q. So essentially what is happening is, in this latch the data is being fed only during the clock going from high to low. At only that instance it will go, this data will be transferred here. Is this aspect clear to everybody? Is it confusing?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So, two doubts here. So, first of all, the frequency with which D is changing is independent of the frequency of the clock changing, right? We don't really need to synchronize them.
No.
Okay. And second thing, sir, what if like in some practical circuits, there'll be a transition delay from Y to D, right? And then there'll be this NOT gate delay. So if the NOT gate isn't changing as fast as the data is transmitting from Y to D, then again for a split second, it would so happen that the C would not be 1 and D would be transmitted, or D wouldn't be transmitted and C would be 1. So that would corrupt the data, right?
Correct. So each flip-flop will have something known as setup time and hold time. Okay, setup time is the time required. Suppose it is a negative edge triggered flip-flop, the time required, the D should be stable at a time delta before the clock goes low. That is known as the setup time. Okay, so on that, those intricacies probably will that is in the MTech course. It's not here, but like you rightly pointed out, so every these things, there will be some speed limitations of a flip-flop. Okay, that will be known as a setup time, and that will also be, there will be something known as a hold time. Maybe if you can remind me once we finish the combinational circuit, just because you asked this question, I will introduce some concepts so that how these delays are taken care of. One maybe 15 minutes, so 2-3 slides I'll prepare for that. Okay, time being will not it will complicate things. We'll just assume there is no propagation delay, but you rightly pointed out those issues will be there, will definitely be there. So they are known as the setup time for a flip-flop and a hold time for a flip-flop. So we cannot use any frequency, and we can't, when the clock is going high, you can't keep changing the D at the same very instant. Okay, it will all introduce errors. So there is something known as setup time and hold time. Okay, we will look into those aspects. Anyway, nice thought about over it. It's very good. Okay. See, this is the clock, right? Now let's see what happens when the clock is going high. Okay, there is one more waveform. Yeah, if you understand this waveform, everything will be clear. See, the clock is going high here. Now this is the D, okay, which is changing. Now what happens is, when the clock is high, okay, whatever change in D is going to get reflected in Y, right? But Q, there will be no change in Q. Whatever change is there in the Y. Okay, you understand where is Y? This is Y, this is Q, this is clock, this is clock bar, this is D. Okay, so if you understand this graph, all your concepts of D flip flop will be master slave flip flop will be clear. D type master slave flip flop, this is known as. Okay, when the clock is high, whatever is the change in the D, will get reflected in Y. So during the clock high, this is the change in D which is happening, that is getting reflected in Y. Now when this clock is high, okay, in this duration the D is high, and here the D is low, right? So now once the clock goes low, right, Y continues to remain in the same state, right? Y is going to continue to, so we can draw this line here like this. So we draw a line. Similarly here, it will continue to remain 1 here. So it will, is the output waveform of Y with respect to D and clock clear to everybody? Anybody?
So can you repeat? Yes.
Okay. Okay, so no, we will take time and understand this graph properly. Okay, otherwise the D flip flop is one of the basic blocks. Okay, so you have to be very absolutely clear about how D flip flop works. Okay, otherwise we are going to have, yeah.
So could you repeat what happened when clock goes low? I understood what happens when clock goes high.
Yeah. Somebody has got an issue when we will go to the repeat this thing again. We'll come back to this. Okay, so here. This is, let me go back to the circuit first. This is D, this is clock, this is a latch. Okay, in latch we are giving clock actually to the enable pin. Okay, whenever the enable is high, whatever is D gets reflected in Y, and whenever the enable is 0, it will retain the last state. Okay, is that much clear? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, C we are giving it to the enable, the clock we are giving it to the enable pin. So whenever it is high, whatever is available in D will get slaved to the Y, and whenever enable is 0, it will continue to hold the previous stage. Okay, so now we make it like this. So this is D, so this is enable, or the clock is high. So during that time, so we are only first making graph of when clock is high. So D, whatever is D we are reproducing here. Here also whatever D we are reproducing here, whatever is the value of D here during the clock is high, we are reproducing here, right? And now we also know that when the clock is 0, whatever is the value here it will continue to remain. Okay, so that is why the reason we are going to extend the 0 till here, and here also it is 1 here. So when the clock is 0, it will continue to remain whatever it was, when the clock was going 0 at that instant. So we are made this here. Is this much clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we are going to make Q. Okay, so in Q, let's start with this downward transition. When this clock is going low, in Q what we have given? We have given Q bar, right? Clock bar. So let me go back to that slide and see what is this. Is the second latch. In the clock we have given clock bar, right? And for D we have given Y. So what is going to happen is, okay, so when here the clock is going high, although it is going high to low here, for the Q flip flop the clock is going high here. So whatever is the output available at Y will be captured, right? Okay, so during this time it will be whatever is happening in this will get reflected here, but there is nothing happening here, it is 0 only. So this 0 will be captured here. Similarly in this low period Y is high, so that high will be captured here. Similarly in the last case Y is 0, so that will get captured here whenever the clock is low here. Now what happens to in between state? It will continue to remain in the 0 state. So I am making a line here. Here also when the clock is high here, it is clock bar here, so it will continue to remain high here. Okay, now if you see, this is the output waveform which we have in Q. So what is Q actually doing with respect to the clock and D? If you see, whenever the clock is falling negative, whatever is the value of the D is getting captured here. Now it is again, it will continue to remain there. When again you have the negative clock coming here, edge coming from positive to negative, whatever is the value of D is getting captured here, so it is going high here. Again, this is the third transition of the clock. Whenever it is going from positive to negative, whatever is the value of D, it is getting captured here. So I can, if I remove this Y, okay, it goes here. So if you see, okay, whatever is happening in only during the negative edge, whatever is the D data available, that is being captured. Is it clear how this is working? Anybody? How?
So like whatever in between what D takes changes, Q doesn't matter on that.
Doesn't
only during the change, only during the change in the clock, only it will be changing its value.
Correct. So these are, hence this is known as flip-flops. Okay, flip-flops operate only on edge transition of the edge. It could be, it will not be both the edges, it will be either positive edge or it will be negative edge. In this particular flip-flop design, it is negative edge triggered, so that is why with every negative edge it is going to happen like this. Okay, so this is
So for positive edge, positive edge triggered, we will flip the location of the inverter of the clock, right?
Yeah, correct. You can, we will have to change the position of the clock.
So let's say in the second transition, sir.
Yeah.
So let's say D has come down to 0 in the second transition instead of being 1.
Yeah. Then
Q remain to stay in 1 and 0 only, no, sir?
No. Whatever is happening during the negative edge, that will be captured and the final.
Like let's say D has changed before the transition of clock itself, like it's 0 over there.
Yeah, doesn't matter. If you suppose that D is changing here, then during the transition, whatever is the data will be captured at the output.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can try that. No? You can just analyze this with whatever waveform you want. You will get the same result. Okay, during the negative edge of the transition, the data will be observed. Okay. So, yeah, tell me, somebody had a question? No. Okay. So this is another kind of flip-flop. This is known as the master-slave flip-flop. Okay, it uses 2 latches. Okay, this is gate level implementation of a D-type positive edge triggered flip-flop. Okay, this is an SR dash latch. Okay, now we'll take some conditions and try to understand what is happening. Okay, there will be 3 or 4 conditions. So in the case 1, I am assuming clock to be 0. Okay, I am assuming clock to be 0 and the output data could be anything. Okay, whatever was the previous. So the moment I give clock is equal to 0, what happens is, will S dash bar and R dash bar go to 1? Anybody? If clock is
Yes.
So the moment I give clock is equal to 0, okay, just prior to the clock there will be some data here, right? So it could be S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. Suppose it is set to 1. Okay, already say just before the clock going to 0, suppose S is 1. S dash is 0, so it will be set to 1. Now the moment clock goes to 0, this also will go to 1. Okay, so whatever is the output will continue to remain the same thing. It won't change. Even if D is changing, it doesn't matter, because you will see S bar and R bar. Okay, they are, the moment clock is 0, they are both 1. So even if D changes, once D changes from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, whatever happens, that will not get reflected here, because clock will put S bar and R bar as 0, as 1. Okay, is it clear to everybody? When clock is 0, this latch will continue to hold. This is only one case where the clock is 0 and D is changing, but that the value of the D will not be reflected to the output, because S bar and R bar is set to 1 now. Is it clear to everybody? Anybody, can you answer?
Clear, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now if you remember, for an SR latch, for a SR latch, 1 1 is not permitted, it is forbidden. For an S dash R dash dash 0 0 is not permitted, 1 1 means it will retain the previous value. Okay, so this is that 1 1. Okay, clock is 0, 1 1, previous value is being retained here. Now if I take the second condition, case 2, I am putting a clock is equal to 1. Okay, now clock is equal to 1 and we are assuming D is 0. Okay, D 0 means this D is 0, right? And S dash is 1 because D is 0 in the previous stage before the clock is coming, right? Just before the clock is coming, D is 0. So that is why S dash will also be S dash is 1 and R is equal to 0. So you have some state coming like this. Okay, now what is happening is the clock is 1, right? And D is changing from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. Okay, so what happens? So D is 0, so Q is 0, right? So what happens is, since B is equal to 1, D is changing, B remains 1 because reset bar is 0 here, right? Because your Q is 1 initially. Just before the clock is coming, suppose this is 1, so this R dash will be available here as 0, right? So is it clear? So that is why B will change, B will keep changing it, but the output will not get changed. It will continue to remain as long as the clock is 0. Is it clear, or is there any confusion? Clock.
So can you repeat the case again?
Okay, the case is clock is equal to 1, right? D is initially 0. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So before the clock, D is equal to 0, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
If D is 0, what will be Q? Q is also 0. Just before. Okay, we are assuming Q is also 0 for some. In this case, Q is 0. Okay, when the clock is going high, initially the clock is high, D is 0, Q is also it is already slaved. Okay, because the clock is high, clock is 1 in this case. Don't think about this 0. So see the condition here. Clock is high, D is equal to 0. D is 0, clock is high. So Q is also 0 because it is already slaved. The output is slaved here. Once it is slaved here, it is already 0 here, right? So if it is 0 here, this has to be 0. S dash has to be 1, or it has to be 0. No, S dash has to be 1 because the reset. A reset has to be 0 here. Okay, is
Yes,
it clear?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So D is 0. Okay, this D is 0, right? They don't worry about this clock. The clock is high now. It has gone from 0 to high. So we are assuming it is already flipped to a state to 0. It is latched. 0 and Q both are latched initially. Okay, so it is 0 here. R dash will be 0. S dash will be 1, D is equal to 0. Okay, now A will be equal to 0, this will be equal to 0, and B equal to 1. Okay, because this is 0, it will be 1 here. Okay, similarly, if this is 1 available here and set dash is also 1, so this will be 0 here. Now what happens is, now D is making transitions from 0 to 1, 1 to 0. Okay, if B is making a transition to 1 to 0, 0 to 1, D, that will not get reflected in B because you have a reset is 0. So since reset is 0 here, this will continue to remain in 1. Okay, so this latch state will not be changed and it will continue to remain in 0 state. Yeah, tell me.
So clock should not be 1 initially, also it always should be 0, right?
No, we are taking a clock will keep toggling between 0 and 1, right? So we are assuming that the clock has already toggled to 1. Okay, don't take this 0 here. Yeah.
So, but if clock was 1, then S dash and R dash has to be 1, but R dash is 0.
No, clock is 1.
Yeah, so if clock is 1, then S dash and R dash will be 1, right? But R dash over here is...
No, that will be 1 only if clock is 0.
Oh, Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
clock is 1 here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
No. Okay, there is an error in this slide. Don't think of 0 out here. Okay, the clock is high. Okay, when the clock is high and data is 0 and Q is also 0. So clock is high. Okay, data is 0 and Q is also high. Right. That means Q and data, they are the same initial condition. Okay, initially. So now if you see, since it is a high, R has to be 0. So that 0 will be here and this will be B here. Now any change in D while the clock is continuously high will not get reflected in B because R dash is 0 here. So this gate. So it means when the clock is high continuously, this latch will continue to hold the data whatever was there initially. The first data what was available, that will continue to remain in the output. Okay, so whenever the clock is high, any transition which is made by D will not get reflected here. Okay, so if I take one more condition, okay, here again the clock is high. Now we assumed that D is equal to 0. In this case we are assuming D is equal to 1. Okay, D is equal to 1 and this is also 1. There is a match. Initially there is a match between D and Q. Initially in the case 2 there was a match of 0 here and 0 here. Now in this case there is a match between 1 here and 1 here, right, and 0 here. So what happens? The clock is equal to 1, D is equal to 1. So in that case set bar will be 0 because this is already set to 1. So set bar will be 0 and reset will be 1. And if you have 1 here and D is 1 here, so you will have a 0 out here. Okay, so in this condition if you see D is 1 here, it will have a 0 out here, right, and A will be 1 in this condition because you have a 0 coming here, so this will be 1. Now in this condition if D is changing from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, okay, B will make a change every time. Okay, but B will make a change, but then A will not make a change because you have A will continue to remain 1 because there is a 0 available here. So in this case also if you see, the output is not going to be get reflected to the D is not going to get whatever changes in D is not going to get reflected to the output. So now in this case A is going to remain stable here. So even if there is a change in B, this R dash and A and S dash, they will remain constant. Okay, so there is no whatever is the change in D is not going to get reflected here. So whenever the clock is high, so in both these cases, whenever the clock is high, whatever is happening in D doesn't get reflected at output. Similarly, when the clock is 0, whatever is the change will not get reflected. So when will the change will get reflected? Only when there is a change in the clock going from low to high. So that we will see as next case. So in the next case, assume okay, clock is 0 and D is 0. So since it is 0, both S dash and R dash, R dash is 0, and assuming S dash is 1 here, right? So this will also be 1 in this case. This will also be an B equal to 1, A equal to 1. It is in 0 state. So initially this flip flop is in 0 state. Now what is happening is D is toggling from 0 to 1. D is toggling from 0 to 1. So B changes. The change in B will not be reflected here in this case because the clock is 0 here in this condition. Because the clock is 0, so it not be, this transition is B is not going to be transmitted here. But when the clock is changing from 0 to 1, okay, if you see clock is changing from 0 to 1, okay, what happens is this B is going to trigger an reset and set. So there will be changes in the reset and the set conditions, and you will find the output is getting slaved to D equal to 1. Okay, so whenever there is a change in transition from the clock from 0 to 1, during that time whatever is the value of the D will get reflected at the output. Is it okay? You can analyze this circuit. Okay, there will be one more case where you can put initially you can put it as 1, and then you can put this as 1 and change it to 0 and see what happens when the clock changes. Okay, so this you can, these various conditions, it will be able, you will be able to analyze it. Now the total operation, the summary of this, how this works, can be seen from this graph, and then you can verify whether the same thing is happening in the circuit. If you see, this is the clock. Okay, when the clock is going positive, okay, whatever was the value of D gets reflected in Q and Q bar, right? And then in the next clock, whatever is the value of the D, positive going edge of the clock, it gets reflected in Q and Q bar. And again, the D is changing here in between B and C, but that doesn't immediately get reflected in the output. It will wait for the clock to go high. Whenever the clock is going high, the Q will go to 0 and Q bar will go to high, right? Similarly, during every positive edge of the clock, so data will be sampled and that will be reflected in Q or Q bar. Is it okay? This is how a D flip-flop works. Okay, so this you can analyze it. Okay, you can give different conditions and you can verify whether it is working as per, this is the final desired results. Okay, this R S bar is also not available to us. This is within inside the chip, these signals. Okay, what we will be interested in, the clock signal, the D signal which we are going to give, Q and Q bar. So these four waveforms we have to be clear how this D flip-flop works. So D flip-flop can be implemented with this circuit also. Is it clear to all of you? Anybody has got a doubt?
Sir, so over here, if we see, the clock and D are the inputs, right?
Yeah, the clock and D are the inputs. Yeah, Q and Q bar are the outputs.
Okay, so based on clock and D, A is that right?
Pardon, your voice was interrupted in between.
Okay, based on clock and D,
yeah,
A, B, S dash and R dash are being set, right?
Yeah, they'll be set. So that is internally what is happening in the flip-flop. This whole block is, we have to essentially know how with this clock, okay, the Q and Q bar output with respect to D gets slaved. It is always during the positive. It is very simple. During the positive edge, whatever is the value of the D will get captured. It is very simple that way.
Yes sir, yes sir, got it sir.
Right. So
yes,
these are only the edge triggered. So these kind of circuits will not have any race around conditions. Okay. So masters, this also can be, you put an inverter out here, then it will become a negative edge triggered flip-flop. Right, this is a positive edge triggered. If you just put an inverter in the clock, it will become a negative edge triggered flip-flop. So this is going to be a positive edge triggered. Okay, these are not that important. You just understand the circuit once. Okay, how it operates. Okay, you don't have to memorize this circuit. Okay, you just have to know, okay, it can be implemented it this way. So for one or two conditions, you just verify it for yourself. This is not that important. You try and try to understand or try to memorize. Don't do that. Okay. So you should never, the main aim is to understand the concepts and how to design circuits. Okay, so this is how inside a D flip-flop there will be a circuit, and you should know, okay, more or less there will be few NAND gates which are cross coupled, which will ensure that only during the positive edge of the clock D is captured to the output. Okay, so in case you really need to design some circuit to capture, you can always refer to the circuit which is there inside. Basically, for a designer, the concept should be clear. Okay, how the D flip-flop finally functions. Okay, and a rough idea about what happens inside it. Okay, is it okay with all of you?
Sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, we don't set S dash and R dash, right? We only set clock and D.
Yeah, we only have an option of clock and D.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we don't have any. These are the two inputs, clock and D, and two outputs, Q and Q bar.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We might have an preset and clear depending on the IC. Okay, that we might have an additional preset or clear output. Okay, that we might have. Okay.
Sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can you please explain how A and D value will also be set corresponding to each clock and D value?
No, we don't externally set anything A and B.
Yes, so internally, how is the values set? How are the values set?
Okay.
Like for example, in case 2, how will the values be set?
In case 2, like we are assuming that initially D is 0. Okay. So during the here we are taking a condition of clock equal to 1. Okay, the moment clock is equal to 1, we are assuming D has got slaved to whatever during the clock going from low to high, the data of D has already been captured to Q. Okay, so D becomes 0, Q becomes to 0. Now we are talking of a condition. Okay, during the positive edge of the clock, D value has been captured to Q, and now after being captured, okay, the D is changing. What happens then? Okay, what happens then? So if you see this already this D has been captured, that means it is 0 here, so it will be 0 here, it will be 1 here, and reset will be 0 here because it is 1 here, it has already been captured, that data. So this will be 0 here and this will be 1 here. So if that 0 is available here, right? So now if the D changes also, right, the change will not be reflected in B because it is already a 0 here from the reset bar. Is that aspect clear for the case 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that B is also being fed here, right, and now you are giving a S dash also. Since this data was already captured 0 here, so you have a 1 here, so you have 1 coming here and 1 coming from here, so A will be set to 0 in that condition. A will continue to remain 0. So whatever changes happens in D, okay, doesn't get reflected in B. Okay, in the next case we are assuming during the positive edge of the clock D is 1 and Q is 1. Okay, here D is 1 and Q is 1. Okay, so this is already got latched, this has got latched, so that is why S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. It is set to 1. S dash is equal to 0, R is equal to 1. Now since R is equal to 1 here, any change in D will get reflected in B. It will definitely get reflected in B here. Okay, so that change will keep happening out here, right? But set is 0 here. Here if you see, set is 0. So that 0 will ensure ki reset is 1. So whatever change is happening in B doesn't get transmitted to SR latch. Same, that change in B is coming here. But if you see, set dash is 0. So that set dash 0 is available here also. So that will also disable this NAND gate and it will keep, and the A will not change. A will continue to remain 1 here. Okay, is that condition clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So that's all. In the next class, what we are going to do is we are going to make some counters design. So how to go about, now we have understood about the flip-flops. Okay, in the next class I will introduce you to a few more flip-flops, and then maybe on Tuesday we will see the design of the circuits. Okay, for T2, everything which is taught till Tuesday's class will be covered, and it will probably start from there will be 5 variables K-map, and there will be also that implementation of K-map with NAND gates, right? So we had stopped in T1 till 4 variable K-map. Now after that implementation was left out, so from that implementation onwards till this. So I will request all of you to go through the videos and all, otherwise it will be slightly difficult for you. Okay, so you have free time Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Sunday, so please go through the lecture notes also. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll stop it here for today.